welcome back to my Matters podcast with Nate and myself, Darwin. Today we have special guest, recently black belt promoted, Devin Stevens. How you doing, sir?
Slushie.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Doing
right.
great. Yeah,
That's your
Slushie,
name.
Street Beefs, check it out. Yeah, just started training full time, so a lot of being broke, but it's totally worth it. So I'm loving it. Loving it.
How did the slushy come out? The nickname.
Well, I didn't know going up to Street Beefs you had to have a nickname. And when they put me on the spot to choose, I just saw someone drinking a slushy. So it's like, slushy. I'll go with that. Fits my personality. I'm built like a slushy, so no one, expected me to go out there and win. So it was worth it.
What you call? You are ice cold, like ice in your veins. That's the
That's right.
slushy.
Yes, I'll give you a brain freeze.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit of yourself, your beginnings?
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, I lived with my mom, and we were pretty like low class, broke, and I would go to my dad's on the weekends, and I thought he was like a demigod. He's built like a brick house, like he's built different, and I've seen him, fight and do jiu-jitsu, and I just wanted, to be like him, but I was from like the outside looking in. So I didn't get to move in with him when I was 12, till I was 12. And that's when I really got into jiu-jitsu. And honestly, other than jiu-jitsu, I've never had really any other hobbies. I never played football, never played baseball, never played any of that. I wrestled from the time I was 6 all the way through ninth grade. And obviously that helps a lot in jiu-jitsu. And other than that, I'm kind of a nerd. Not a smart one, but like into nerdy things like Star Wars, Game of Thrones, crazy stuff like that. Texas Hold'em, billiards, all of that. So yeah, not much of an athlete other than jiu-jitsu, but that's all I live for is jiu-jitsu. So love it.
Just a bit about jiu-jitsu. You don't have to. You can be your own type of athletic, and you have your own game.
Exactly. Absolutely. You don't have to, have 8-pack and just, be super athletic, have great cardio to go out there and be great at jiu-jitsu. I mean, look at Gordon Ryan. He's not like a super athlete. He's not fast. He's just nice and slow, steady pace, and he's the GOAT.
Yes.
Same thing with
Is
the
there
Gracies. I mean, UFC 1, if you looked at all those guys, no one would have picked, Gracie to win that. Hoist Gracie. So, I mean, it definitely don't take being a D1 athlete to, be good at jiu-jitsu.
no? That's true. That's cool. I mean, so I'm curious. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about your dad's like fighting past. You said you watched him do jiu-jitsu. You watched him fight. Is he? I mean, he's obviously very good at jiu-jitsu. Is that what caught your eye? Is that why you got so deep into jiu-jitsu? Because your dad did that primarily, or like I don't know his striking background at all.
He's actually, believe it or not, 6th-degree black belt in karate. He got that
Wow.
doing it a whole 4 or 5 years, how karate works. But yeah, so he was a, karate black belt, and under my uncle on my mom's side, my mom's brother. And that's how he ended up meeting my mom and having me. But his first MMA fight, he actually lost. He just went out there and he just knew karate and wrestling because he wrestled too, and got destroyed. And as a bouncer, he punched someone in the mouth, and the guy's 2 front teeth got stuck in his knuckle. And I believe one of them's still in there today, and he almost lost his hand. So it kind of took away his right hooks and everything. And that's how he ended up discovering jiu-jitsu, and it worked for him. He won the rest of his fights. And I thought it was amazing. He took people down with ease and got on top, submitted them, kneeing them. It was awesome. So yeah, being on the outside looking in, I didn't really get to see his training much as a kid. I just saw the results, and I wanted to do, whatever he did. So that's how that played out. Crazy stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and also you said about like the Gracies. Also, Helio wasn't that big of a guy either. Helio
No,
Gracie.
very small guy.
Yeah,
Very
and he used
small
to have
guy.
a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
was actually the
challenges.
other day. Yeah, I was actually the other day watching Gracie challenges, hidden footage ones, and it was crazy. They go into like kung fu schools and beat up all the guys. I mean that's awesome. I wish we could do that. Like every off day, every Monday, I wish we could go to True Taekwondo, just challenge them, bring more people to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, give the true essence of self-defense.
Yeah, no kidding. I definitely think jiu-jitsu is the best martial arts for self-defense. Maybe not as much in MMA anymore, because if you're a good striker and a good wrestler, you just need to know a little bit of jiu-jitsu to be good in MMA. But for self-defense, we're primarily the only martial arts that knows how to fight off our backs and get on the ground. So all we got to do is get someone down, and it's a wrap. I mean, Joe Rogan talks about it all the time, and it's very true. It's very true.
It's
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do what you want with them. You can hold them down until the cops get there. I mean, it's amazing. With no harm done. Put someone in a gift wrap and you can just hold them there and be safe. It's amazing.
On that note, have you seen the Gracie's new method of holding people down? You must have by now.
I
That
haven't seen that.
it's the tie-up method. When they got two guys, they like, I don't know how to describe it. They wrap them up, and they were doing challenges where they would like put some mats down out in public and just have random people come up and be like, "Hey, $100 we can hold you down. Like, you can't grab this gun, this toy gun that they put like right by him or something like that." And they hold them down. It's really funny to see.
I have not seen that. I'm gonna have to check that out though.
But it's
That's
a new
wild.
system they're trying to teach cops now.
is that Henner?
What's up?
Is that Henner or Gracie?
I believe yes. It's one of the brothers who goes out and sells stuff all the time.
Okay, I know it was the old one, like old Gracie's videos or something like that.
No, this is new stuff.
Okay, yeah, new stuff. Yeah, that's probably why I ain't seen it yet. I've been watching all the old stuff.
Okay, yeah.
It's crazy. Oh man, kind of getting off topic. In the world like of a lot of cloud things going on, they have like information available. It's easy to just put out shit, and like for example, trying to defend yourself when somebody has a in your car and grabs your seatbelt, trying to choke you, like trying to like push the car seat
Try to
back.
push the seat back. Yeah, nice and slowly.
Yeah, like those things don't work as those videos show.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, those McDojo videos. I love them though. I can't lie.
They are.
That's like America's funniest videos for martial arts.
For real
That's
though.
like
There's one with Steven Seagal, and he's very serious about it. They're saying the McDojo thing. He's talking about why Aikido is the best martial art, and he's in a jiu-jitsu school, and someone asked, what if we go in and take you down? And he's like, well, you won't be able to take me down because as soon as your head goes down, you're going to be dead. I'm like, what? Ain't no way. Let Nicky Rod take you down and see if you kill him.
he was a sheriff at one point, right?
Who?
Steven Seagal. He used to have a show that he was like a for real sheriff in a
What?
county. He was like arresting people and stuff like that. I think it was Oklahoma or something like that. I can't
Wow,
remember.
yeah. That's news to me. I didn't know that.
Where was it? Because I remember there used to be videos about him. One of those like Spike TV or one of those like real TV, like True TV or something like that. They used to have like a show about him being a sheriff.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know sheriffs could have ponytails.
Yeah, just the neck cape. I think it was a sheriff in New Mexico. That's what it was
New Mexico.
in 2013.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, it wasn't like
That's
in his
wild.
prime either. That's what he. I wonder if Anderson Silva kick got him that position. Remember when he knocked out Victor Belfort?
Yeah. The spider.
Yeah,
Dude.
just like, oh
He
yeah,
was up
this.
at Henzo's. Anderson Silva. He was up at Henzo's when I was up there. So I got to say hey to him though.
How was that experience there at Hensel?
Oh man, that was great. The training up there is different, man. Jake Shields rolling with him it was the hardest roll of my life. The way John would do it, it was always starting in a bad position. And I remember Jake started on my back, and I had my chin down, but he didn't even try to go under my. He just went over my nose, cross face, and just pulled as hard as he could for like 8 straight minutes. That's what that was, and I was so mad. But what am I going to do to Jake Shields? Get up and try to fight him. It was awful. And then rolling with, Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan. They remember me. They actually knew my name and got to roll with them a little bit. And you know how like you're rolling and you accidentally knee someone or injure someone? Man, I felt so bad. It was the worst I've ever felt. I accidentally pinned my knee on Gary Tonin's fingers, and he kind of did it like this, and he was training for a fight. I was like, oh, no. No, I cannot be the reason. I felt so bad. Like, he was fine. All he did was this, and he kept rolling. It just hurt my feelings so bad. But, yeah, the training up there was different. I've been up there 3 or 4 times, and it was different, man. The way, like, at the morning class, I was there at, like, 8 o'clock in the morning. There's, like, 200 people on the mats. It is crazy. And the thing about it is, there's too many people. John can't walk around like at a small school and like help everybody. So if you don't know what to do, you just gotta ask someone who looks like they've been there a while. And it was crazy. He shows the move twice, and it shows 3 moves, and then you do positional rounds, full sparring rounds. It's crazy. It was awesome. I stayed at
Is
my
that the blue
aunt's in
basement?
Jersey. Is it what?
The blue basement?
Yeah, the blue basement. Yeah, yeah. I missed it. I wish they were still there. I'd go up there more often, but because I had family in Jersey, I took the train every morning at 4 o'clock to get to New York just to train there, and it was amazing. And then guys like the ones the media picture as the bad guys, like DJ Jackson, he was up there and he was like the nicest person ever. He walked up and down Manhattan with me and everything, and I was like a big fanboy, and that like meant a lot. And Craig Jones was up there. I got to roll with him a couple times. Isaac Michelle, Ethan Kroenstein, Damian Anderson. Got to roll with all those guys. Except Nicky Rod. He was there. But while John was teaching, everybody was so quiet and focused. Except Nicky Rod. He was in the back, like pacing, punching himself, smacking himself. I was like, I'm not rolling with that guy. And that's before anyone knew who he was, too. It was crazy. So I avoided
Typical
rolling with him.
wrestler.
Yeah, for real. So I avoided rolling with Nicky Rod, but I got to roll with the rest of the squad, and it was amazing.
Fun fact: first Gordon Ryan seminar was at Section A.
I believe it was. I'm like 90% sure his very first seminar, at least for sure outside of New York and New Jersey, was at Section 8 MMA, August 2015. So we can always, he pulled up too. Like the next time he came down, he was wearing the Section 8 rash guard representing, and that was awesome. That really changed the game for me. So
Is that when you got into the heel hooks?
before that, actually, and that goes with some of the points we're going to go over. Like in 2015, we went up. Dad took me up to New York to do a private lesson with Eddie Cummings, who he don't compete no more, but he was the greatest leg. I still consider him the greatest leg locker of all time. That's all he did. It wasn't he hadn't won an EBI or anything yet. He had competed in one, and I've never seen anyone throw my father around the way Eddie Cummings did. And he showed us the basic ankle lock, the basic heel hook, and for 1 hour of a private lesson. And I was a white belt, and I came back down to the gym, and I started leg locking purple belts and brown belts, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I'm ahead of the game now. I'm going to beat everybody. And then it was like a month later, Gordon Ryan came down and did the seminar. But amazing. Yeah. And this was like 19-year-old Gordon Ryan, too, like 150, 60 pounds kid who, no one would look at me scared. Now you'd look at him, be terrified. But back then, he was just like a 19-year-old kid. And it was
Clean
crazy.
face. He didn't have a beard back
Yes,
then.
baby faced. Yes, it was wild. Nicky was there. Nicky Ryan. That was awesome.
That is funny. It does seem like even still a lot of the like leg entanglements are the bane of the upper belt's existence. It's funny how it's kind of stayed true. I mean, it's fading out because I mean, you have to learn them, right? But
Absolutely. Now you have to learn them. Yeah, back then,
it's
people
definitely,
didn't really know how to defend them. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was the kryptonite, you know?
yeah, exactly. Jiu-Jitsu's always evolving. It's always evolving. So right now they're kind of dying down, but not with.
Well, you say they're dying down. I feel like they're not as people aren't finishing with them as much, but I think it's because you have to know how to defend them now, or you get finished. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely, you're not going
they're
to be able to
always
compete
there.
very long if you don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And then even now, like through guys who are known for top wrestling and passing, they're even sitting back for leg locks now when the passing game ain't working and upper body submissions. Like it's like what an armbar was in the 2010s. And before that, like you got to know how to defend an armbar if you're going to do jiu-jitsu. Now you got to know how to defend a heel hook and a straight ankle lock and a knee bar and a toe hold now too, if you're going to compete for a long time. So got to know it now.
The crazy thing about it, like there's new moves every time because the heel hook going to Achilles and then Aoki as well. Like they just like put together moves that you're like, okay, I know how to defend this, but then you get put in a bad position. It's like, oh shit, I'm in a different move now. How the fuck do I defend this now?
Exactly. I still don't even know how to defend the Aoki lock. That one's crazy. Yeah, we were just working on it
Accidentally,
the other night.
I got stuck. I got caught in it by accident. We were going over something else, and somebody got me in that because we were going heel. We were working on Achilles ankle lock, and I got my
Yeah.
heel out, and somebody was cranking my foot. And I was like, "What is this? My foot is stuck. I can't get it out." I know that shit was a real,
Then the next time you came, you took your wrestling shoes off. So never again.
yeah, yeah. Dude, they got all the grip in there when they got my wrestling shoes
Yes.
Oh
on.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So on my street knees fight, my last one, I heel hooked that dude who had tennis shoes on. I mean, just couldn't resist. He was just giving it to you from the start. He was gonna
Yeah.
try to kick my
Can't hide
face
the
in, but
ankle.
no, he can't. There ain't no heel slipping. So
Yeah, once you get like the 90 degrees on the ankle and you just torque, it's game over. Because there's
yes,
no
it
getting out of
is.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like socks too would even be better than shoes if someone for some reason just had socks on. I think that would be. I think that would help. It's like that's why when I compete, I always wear a long sleeve rash guard. It sticks more. Like if you start getting sweaty and you're in short sleeve, they can heel slip a lot easier. But in a long sleeve, when it's sticky, I think it'd be the same thing for like a sock. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's why Eddie Bravo wore gi pants in that match against one of the
So
Gracies. Who
Hoyler,
was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hoyler Gracie,
yeah,
one of the
yeah,
greatest matches ever. Yeah,
yeah. That was wild.
I still watch that match from beginning to
Yeah,
end.
for sure. Yeah.
Like even for that time, it's still to this day high level jujitsu.
Mm-hmm.
and
No
that's also
doubt.
another guy that's a pioneer of the sport too. Because he has his own system,
Yes.
10 planet system.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Submitted a Gracie with it. I mean, it ain't no joke. That's wild.
You see some of those moves that they do. His system, like for example, like the twister. Very seldom do I see a vaporizer. But man, if you give somebody a vaporizer, it's game over because then he's just
Mm-hmm.
gone.
I did it to Coach Matt one day. He's a big dude in black belt. Y'all know him, and I did it to him, but he still somehow wasn't able to armbar me. I don't know how. That was wild. I was upset. I was very sad. It's one of the down parts of jiu-jitsu.
It's that veteran black belt voodoo
Yeah.
magic that they pull.
Yes.
You live by the bell, you die by the bell.
Live by the bell and die by the bell.
It's like
That's
it
wild.
because he like the 10 planet system. They have like their own. You know how they go around and they like to use Japanese terms, but they're like 10th planet. They use a lot of stoner language
Yeah.
and
Like
also positions too as well. For example, like the trunk position.
he's got one
Then
called
there
crackhead control. He does. He got a position called crackhead control, and then the
Isn't there one
scorpion.
like a zombie? Isn't there a zombie one?
yeah,
Yeah, there is. Yes, there is. The first
Zombie
Jiu-Jitsu
New
book I
York.
ever read was Mastering the Twister. Yeah, Eddie Bravo's
Okay.
Mastering the Twister. I still have that book. That's crazy. Came out like '08. He still uses those moves. All those guys do. I love it. I actually fought a 10th Planet guy a couple weeks ago at TFA. I think it was the first time I fought a 10th Planet guy. And I studied him up, and he was a leg locker. So I was licking my chops. I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a leg lock battle. And when we went out there, he did not. He stood up and tried to pass my guard, and it was crazy. Like, he couldn't pass my guard, but I couldn't get underneath him either. It's not what I expected from a 10th Planet guy. It's what I would expect from, like Derving or, Matt Walker, just big, heavy pressure wrestling. Really threw me off. That was I don't know, error on my part of studying.
That is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that at all. I've gone against maybe a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it felt different when I went against him. One of them, he started doing something with my arm, and I could tell he was doing something, and he was like setting up a weird slicer from down like half guard. I don't know. I've had some, yeah, that was some weird stuff.
Probably the ham sandwich. That's the new slicer going around
It
now.
might have been, yeah, it might have been.
I love that. Yeah, it's wild.
It is funny to me that that's like, you got your Gracie schools, and like there's these different like I don't even know what you call them, like different uh studies of jiu-jitsu, and they're all mostly the same except 10th Planet. 10th Planet is like the outlier, you know what I mean?
Exactly, dude. I'd love to go to a class at one of their schools one day.
Honestly, yeah. Their warm-ups are pretty complicated. I don't know if they all do that like warm-up drill, but I mean, it's a cool idea.
But
I wonder if
it's
they
so they have
measure
like
how
an
flexible.
alphabet. They have an alphabet the warm up system for the.
An
I think like
alphabet?
yeah, I think it's
Hmm.
B is like Hail Marys. So like like try to pass somebody's guard, you can go straight into Kimura and like different moves. There's like different warm up. It's just they do like sequences instead of like warming up one move. They put a sequence of moves together as the warm ups.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
there's
pretty
a
smart.
whole flow that they have outlined for like each day that you come in.
That's interesting. I like that.
I feel like it would be really good. I mean, you learn the sequence of moves. Like that's some of the hardest parts of jiu-jitsu, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just tying things together. But once you can do that, oof, it's hard to stop you.
I mean, it's really what it is. It's just physical chess. That's all it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
You just got to be like 6 steps ahead of every move. Yeah, actually.
Also takes away the uncertainty during your matches too, because you put sequences together. Like this go this and that. If you go here, for example, Gordon, he likes to have systematic approach to a lot of things. That he explain things like, okay, if he does this right here, you do this. If he does this, he does that. But if you're not able like to practice that way, sequences just during warm up, then like during the scramble, you can go there to what you drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crazy. I mean, seeing his like his breakdowns, like how in depth he can break things out. It's like, okay, I do this. He's got 2 things that he can do. It's like, oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
that's to me that's mind blowing. You know, I
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even as a black belt and I'm watching, I'm like, I never would have thought that there was a triangle from bottom turtle. But there is. It's crazy. It's wild.
is that how you try to set up your like leg attacks? Is like in ways that you can like. I know he's gonna move here or here probably.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
try to find a way to get to the legs from every position, offensive
mhm.
and like defensive. Like Gamby rolling from turtle, it works almost every time.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
yeah, and like bottom mount, I used to all the time would let people mount me. It got to the point where coaches of my opponents would literally be like, don't mount, do not go to mount," because I would throw my legs over their hips and be able to get to Ashy right there. And yeah, I try to be able to get to legs from everywhere, but bottom half guard, man, that's my jam.
That's a really funny position, isn't it? It's one of those positions that people like to go like I like being in top half guard. I love that. But then there's so many people like you who like the bottom half guard and it's
Yeah, that and that's the fun thing about jiu-jitsu. You get like stylistic matchups that are just so perfect. And like even to the average person who's not like ever seen, they would never understand. But like us jujitsu nerds, even though it don't look like there's a lot going on in the match, there's a lot going on that you just don't see.
mhm mhm
That's great.
Yeah, like CJI, the first one. What's his name? Levi Jones Leary.
Levi Jones Leary, yeah,
Yeah, whenever he was going against Brutalo,
yeah, Cade
the
Ruto,
bro,
yeah,
it's like, dude, there's a lot going on there. Even though like you're like, oh, he's just sitting down. Like, no, he can't pass his guard. You don't understand. He's trying to pass his guard, but he just can't pass his guard. Like, it's not getting. It's crazy how some people have like those crazy guard retention.
yeah. I know. I try to be one of those. Even as a big boy now, I still try to have those crazy guard retentions. That's important. He actually, I think, he fought Levi Jones Leary the day before, and I think he tore like a ligament in his knee trying to pass Levi's guard.
Yeah, because they had like some sort of false read.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah, the false read. Yeah,
Is he
Gosh, that
like
was
lined
such
up?
a good show.
he trains under Lachlan. Yeah, and that's who I've been watching my instructional on here recently is Lachlan Giles. I'm still learning leg lock stuff, even though I've been doing them for 10 years now. Like it constantly evolves. It's crazy how that works.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't so not this last ADCC, but the ADCC before that, didn't one of the Rotolo bros beat Lachlan Giles
Yeah,
via
he did with an
armbar?
armbar.
To see them just struggle so hard against a student, that I don't know, that's so cool to see.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, you learn from your teammates. Like
Mhm.
if Durbin goes against someone and I watch it, and then that's gonna help me know what to do and what not to do. Yeah, that's crazy how that works. That armbar was sexy too. Like I
It
watched that
was.
match all the time. Came out of nowhere.
That was
Those
one of
dudes
the
are crazy.
fastest I've seen. I feel like that was insane.
Watch some old Hoffa Mendes gi matches. His arm bars are wild. He's
Hey,
old
yeah,
school, but I love him.
Do you think like for example like Gauss is somebody that has a lot of matches, and when they go somebody that's new that don't have much like as far as like research on them, do you think it makes them like more susceptible to losing to the experienced guy because they have like every move that he has done, especially somebody like K. Rotolo that have been training since they were like walking. What do you think is the other way around?
I think it's kind of the other way around. Guys like Lachlan and Eddie, those are guys that like what they're gonna do, and most people cannot stop it. And that's how I try to be. Like, everyone knows I'm going to sit down and try to leg lock them. And, if you win, congratulations. But if, you don't, you still win. Like, that was the thing about Eddie. Everyone knew he was going to leg lock him and that he was going to try to leg lock him. And he did, like, 90% of the time. Until we get to that EBI match with Gio Martinez. I don't know if you saw that, but he got Gio in a leg entanglement. And Gio literally would grab his foot and put it behind his head. Like, who does that? 10th planet guy. That's
Yeah.
10th planet guy.
You try to get to my legs, you have to go through my head.
Yeah, dude. It was wild, man. So yeah, I said it the other way around. And then there's guys like Ruotolo who can do anything. They can sit down and play guard if they wanted, but they choose not to. When what's his name? Jason Nolf? Is that his name? That did CJI?
Yep, the wrestler.
Ty could have sat down and just jiu-jitsu'd him. But instead he wanted to challenge himself and wrestle him. That's crazy. I'd never do that. I'd never do that. That's wild. I respect it.
At one point, he catch him in that, was it a triangle? That he almost went out at the end of the second period.
Yeah,
almost went out.
second round, he got that like reverse north-south like triangle. He was on bottom north-south and locked up a triangle. That's crazy.
Right against the wall.
And he had a calf slicer with it. He was locking up the calf like that. That was wild. Props to Jason for just like not tapping.
Yeah, I think he's only a blue belt, Jason. But he's a 2 or 3-time national champion wrestling. Oh man,
I'm interested to see Gable Stevenson and Craig Jones.
yeah. See how he does. I don't know if he has any ground game. Although he was in the same camp with John Jones and Gordon Ryan for his last fight. I don't know how fast he'll be able to pick up the submissions against Craig Jones.
Not fast enough, but if anyone can help him out, to Gordon Ryan.
I have an idea. Only way Gable will be able to win, shows up with a gold medal around his neck, kryptonite.
Yeah, Craig's done. Hey, Craig's done. Second place immediately.
Yeah, he'll just give up, man. That's his kryptonite. Gold. Show up with his Olympic gold medal.
For 5 years straight at just local tournaments, I would always do the absolute division, and I always made it to the finals. Naga, Newbreed for 4 years in a row, and I always lost in the finals of the absolute division. So I get it ain't on that level. It's just local tournaments, but I feel the pain, man.
What do you think is worse, losing early in the round or made it all the way to finals and losing it?
All the way to the finals.
Because you made it right
What do you
there.
think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like losing early's got to be worse because you make it. I don't know. If you can't beat anybody, it's kind of like wow, gosh. But then you make it to the finals. At least you beat somebody.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. I thought you meant in the match, losing early in the match or at the end of the round. Yeah, in the tournament, in the bracket, absolutely, I agree with Nate. Make it as far as possible. But in a match, if I'm going to lose, I want someone to just absolutely destroy me instead of losing by an advantage or something. Because then I'm more mad at myself. If someone just manhandles me, then I can't be mad at that. I just got to get better. But yeah.
What do you think about, speaking of silly losses, what do you think about those IBJJF rules? People are losing because of silly stuff. For example, there was one recently I sent a video of a guy. He got disqualified because he had too much gel in his hair, and the referee fell and he had too much gel. He DQ'd the guy.
Not a fan.
I didn't see that. Although I will say that's pretty dumb to put. Why would you gel your hair that much before a tournament? I don't know. That to me is at a certain point you're asking for it, but
yeah, I don't know. I've always been not a fan of IBJJF rules. For years, 20 plus years, you couldn't even reap the knee or heel hook at any belt level, and that's a big part of the sport, especially nowadays. But they changed it up to where only brown and black belts can do it. But up till masters, once you go to masters, you can't do it no more, and that's crazy. And then they don't pay nobody nothing. So that's why none of the big names really do it anymore. Then you saw, I think Pat Downey, he got gold, right, at Blue Belt Worlds. And then dude wanted to fist fight him, and he fought back, and he got disqualified and banned from IBJJF. It's wild.
Yeah, he's like...
That is, the ones that really get me are the... What's that? What was that?
Pat Downey, when he said, how do you get kicked out of place that you already quit? I'm not going back there. I didn't go and sign up for them or be IBJJF matches.
Yeah, he wasn't going back, and they still kicked him. They still banned him.
Yeah, they were 2-year ban or something like that.
If it was mid-match, I'd understand, but he had already won. It was done.
He choked out that guy. He's some random Russian. He choked him out. He
And
went
he woke
out.
up and wanted to go.
He lost a jiu-jitsu match, so he wanted to make a striking match.
Yeah.
Gotta
It's
change
like
styles.
Khabib.
Maybe I can win that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Khabib and Dylan Dennis, if y'all remember that.
Yes,
That was
just went
crazy. That was
flying.
crazy. I met Dylan Dennis, and he's one of those other people, and he was one of the nicest people I ever met. He was so kind, wanted to know where I trained and everything. I met him at a IBJJF in Atlanta, and it was amazing. Him and AJ Agazarm, another guy who's like a bad guy in the media, but he was really nice too. They had a match, and everyone in that arena got quiet and just watched that match. That was really cool. But both guys were really nice in person.
Which one was that? The event, like altercation, him and King Ryan. So they got into
Dylan or AJ, they both had altercations with Gordon.
Dylan.
Their first one goes all the way back 2015 at ADCC trials. It was Gary Choden had a match against Munch. It was a Marcelo Garcia black belt too, and it was like a call. It came down to a decision, and they gave it to Gary. And then Dylan came up wanting to throw hands with everybody, the ref, Gary, and everything. And Gordon, no one knew who he was at the time. He hadn't won anything. I mean, I did from local like tournaments, but he had the Burger King
Yeah,
crown
the
on.
red game.
I just walked right up behind Dylan and kind of just stared at him like a retard. And that was the first time. And then it just went on from there, back and forth, back and forth. But at the time, Gordon was at Renzo Gracie in New York City, and then Dylan and the Marcelo Garcia Dream Team were in New York City as well. So it was like a crosstown rivalry. So they were never going to get along.
Ryan went full spectrum on that one. It's autism
Mm.
with the working crown.
Yeah, he did. I started doing it too, but it was uncool by the time I started doing it.
People started believing you. That one sounds wrong with you. Autism. Oh, man. What's like along your journey? Like, what are the key milestones?
Man, let me tell you, the first one I'd say is just getting that first stripe on your white belt. If y'all remember that feeling, that for me was like so rewarding. Like for one little piece of tape, all the rolls and getting tapped out and beat up, and that just made me want to keep going. That first little piece of tape on that white belt, like I was like, okay, I'm all in. This is like a challenge. I want to go as long as I can. And then I would say training up in New York City. Like I've done that 3 or 4 times now with Eddie Cummings, and then I went back for a private lesson with Gordon Ryan and Gary Tonin, and going up there and training with the DDS for 3 months. That was a big part of my career. And then double golding blue belt no-gi pants. Like that moment, that was like to this day the best competition moment for me because Matt Walker, a teammate of ours, he got gold at no-gi pants, and I always wanted to somehow. I can never beat him up because he's Matt Walker, but I always wanted to, have something on him. So I double golded pans, and I give him hell to it to this day. So, but I only fought one person and still double golded. But I double golded. So. There was no one in my bracket, so I got gold. And then in the open weight, there was one, and I don't know the truth of this to this day, but someone, I think Vernon Kirk, said that the guy I went against was Matt Sarah's son because the guy's last name was Sarah. And I don't know if it was or not, but I still tell everyone that it was because that's what I was told. And say I beat him in the finals and I did. I beat him, and that was cool. And then Dad competed too. He got second place in his division, ankle locked everyone all the way up to the finals. And John Shell, he competed up there too. So that was fun. My first ever super fight, it was on Pro Jitsu, July 23rd in 2016. My dad did a Pro Jitsu, and I really wanted to do one too. And he went through hell to get, because no one wants to see white belts roll at a super fight, but he was able to get me a match on there. And that was my first super fight win. Because I'm sure you guys know tournaments where no one really cares. Like there's 8 matches going. Like the anxiety is not as bad, but when it's quiet and all eyes are on you and your opponent, the anxiety level just, for me at least, it shoots all the way up. And being able to win my first one, that was amazing. And as far as challenges go, the biggest one was a little over a year ago now. The first time I was ever out really for a long time of training. I had a cyst like on the top of my butt, and I had to have 4 surgeries on that. And that was the long 11 months I couldn't train. Watching all my teammates go out and compete and win, and I'm just sitting at home. My girlfriend's had to plug up the hole 3 times a day, and it was so because they couldn't sew it up. So I couldn't do anything, and I gained like 60 pounds, and I've still not recovered from that, just doing nothing. And so that was the biggest challenge, man. And then having to come back immediately and be a instructor, and then I'm sitting here telling my students like I can't roll because I've been out a year. A lot of the students are new; they have no clue who I am, and they're just having to trust the fact that I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt at the time. I hated not being able to roll, but I was still able to teach, and then I worked my way back. And that was a lot. That was a lot. That was the biggest challenge, I'd say. Just injuries in general. I broke both of my thumbs like twice doing freaking spider guard, freaking big E, man. Mess your fingers up.
Yeah, fingers are not. Fingers are like the cauliflower of grappling in the gi.
Oh yeah. You see like some of those if you go to Masters Worlds and just look at everyone's fingers, it is just they have like 8 knuckles on each finger.
Crazy, like because like all the tape that they wear too on them.
Yeah,
It's not so
lots
much
of
they
money
would be pain free, but it was like to keep their fingers together.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what lessons did you learn like at each belt level as you were coming up?
Yeah, so I'd say the biggest lesson I learned, and I tell my students this now, is to always tap in the gym. Tap early. It's okay. Like lay your ego down and tap. Like even as a black belt, and I'm rolling with the white belt, and they're like trying to armbar me, I tap. I want to be able to do jiu-jitsu as long as I can. Right? Competing, coaching, all of it, and training safe is important. So I would definitely say as a white belt and a blue belt, early on you need to tap a lot. That's the biggest thing. And there's two different guys that walk in, like the ones who want to compete and be an athlete, and then the ones that are just there for self-defense. And it's totally different. And as far as the competition ones go, if you're going to compete, I'd say do it a lot early as a white belt and a blue belt. Know what it feels like to lose and to get absolutely destroyed, and know what it feels like to win. And I think it's very important to do that early on because, in my opinion, I think everyone's different. But for me, like the anxiety gets worse the higher belt rank you get. As a white belt and a blue belt, no one really cares if you win or lose. Once you start being teaching and helping out, I mean, you gotta step your game up a little bit. So I think competing a lot early on is very important.
Do
Then
you
once you
think
get like,
do you think that's the reason why there's more competitors in white belt and blue belts than in the higher belts?
I think so. I think so. I think that's why. Because I think that's the best way to go about it. Just compete. There's no way. It's like teaching you how to swim when you're young. You just got to throw them into the pool. You just got to throw them. If you want to compete, not everyone wants to, and I mean that's okay. It depends on what you're in training for. But if you are going to compete, it's very, very important to throw yourself into the fire to just go ahead and compete. Because once you get up to purple belt, that's when you're in like with the big boys. I feel like as a competitor, as a purple belt, you're actually starting over because now you're like the rookie of the big leagues. You're going again in the expert division against brown and black belts. So if you don't know how to lose as a purple belt, then you're going to be maybe one and done, maybe compete twice and be done. So because purple belt was the toughest one for me when it came to competing. And then as a brown belt, I find it very important you got to learn what you've learned in jiu-jitsu. You got to learn how to teach because that's an art of itself. You can be the greatest competitor and be a terrible teacher. You could be a great teacher and have never competed. And so if you want to do both, like I feel like if you've made it, as you guys know, you've been training a while, it's hard to make it past blue belt. Like I've seen so many people get to blue belt and never come back. And if you've made it to brown belt, I think most of the time they're going to stick with it at least till they get their black belt because you're already almost there. And once you're a black belt, you're most likely going to be teaching. So I think it's important as a brown belt to learn how to teach. Teach little classes, smaller classes, give pointers out. So that way when you're a black belt and you're teaching, you're ready to instruct. Because that's an art of itself that I'm still working on. So trying to get better at teaching too.
Well, you said like competing also like gives you game better, even though you don't want to be like a athlete itself in the sport. Much like
Mm-hmm.
going to competition class, for example, just like see what your game is at, or than just drilling. We say that help
Mm-hmm.
game like exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to know where your strengths are. Because I think everyone is built physically, they're built differently. Like if you're 135 pound and you're so flexible, you put your foot behind your head. I'm not going to teach you, to take someone down, pass their guard, and get like on top. I think it's better for you to play bottom and use your flexibility to your advantage. And then vice versa, if you're a 240-pound D1 high school champion wrestler, then that's totally different. You need to just stay with your strength as a wrestler and learn how to pass someone's guard and pin people, and get them out and use your strength to your advantage. So like, yeah, even ones who don't want to compete, you still want to know where your strengths are. So still absolutely roll, go to competition class. It's very important. I don't understand those gyms that don't let you roll for 6 months at all. They just teach you things and then go home.
Another thing that you talk about was the teaching part. Also now that you once you become a competitor, like helping others and teaching others, or in wrestling, when I was in college, they had like a body system. So for example, in jiu-jitsu will be if you're a blue belt, pick somebody as a white belt and having your body and like teach each other move and things like that. Like, oh, how am I doing here and there? So like be like a mentor for somebody else in teaching, because by teaching you can learn more too. Just the small details.
Absolutely. Bless you. Yeah, absolutely. Teaching, you still learn. You still absolutely learn, even as an instructor. Absolutely.
Do you think so? I know you taught as a brown belt as well, but it seems like you're competing and teaching a lot more recently. Do you feel like your game is being boosted by the teaching that you're doing? Like significantly, have you noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel more of the pressure now because I want to show my students that what I teach them works. So yeah, absolutely, to answer your question, for sure. Um, and I think that's me personally as a teacher, I think it's more of a rewarding feeling to watch your students win with the way you taught them to versus myself. For me, like now when it's like when I win, I don't feel like I won. I'm just kind of like, whew, glad I didn't lose, on to the next one. But when one of my students win, kids or adults, I get so like, I'm like, yeah, I get so excited and emotional. For me, I'm just like, okay, glad I didn't lose, on to the next one. Yeah, absolutely. It's very rewarding, like for your students to win with the way you taught them to. That's another thing too. I believe as an instructor, it's still important to compete. A lot of instructors don't compete, and I think it's very important to lead from the front line. Like a king, I think people would respect a king more that was actually on the battlefield and in the front lines. So I would never tell my students, yeah, it's good for you to compete, and then me never compete. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very important to lead from the front line.
I think that is pretty cool for like the students as well to, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's proof that the methods work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing.
But if you talk about like winning and losing, how they like competing in jiu-jitsu, like in losses that you had before, like how does it help you cope like with personal struggles?
With losing in jiu-jitsu, I think it's the most down you can be. If you get like, man, like for me, I used to get armbarred all the time, so I would work, letting people starting in the armbar, working my way out. And yeah, that's something John Donaher was very, very good about when I was up in New York. Everyone started in fully extended armbar or fully halfway locked in choke. And if you could work yourself out of that, you can about get yourself out of anything else. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, it's important to not take losing in jiu-jitsu so personal to where you like want to stop. I mean, I probably lose that as much as I win, and it motivates me. I learn a lot from it. So it's an old saying, but you either win or you learn, and it's very true. I think it's very true. And that's why too at our gym I've been doing a lot more tournaments styles inside the gym where everyone in the gym's watching. So for the new competitors, like win or lose, they know the feeling. It's not something completely new to them because I mean, as a first time competitor, if you lose, you just think you suck, and the same for you. You want to move on, and I don't want anyone to be like that, especially if like I'm teaching them.
Yeah, that's definitely can be one of the more challenging things to overcome, it seems like. It's just at least to me, the mental adversity I mean, yeah, it's a lot to deal with. It can be anyway.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like the only person you're competing with really is yourself. Like
Mhm.
I would love to roll with myself from a year ago, 2 years ago, see how much better I've done. Like, even Gordon Ryan says that he's saying he's not trying to be the best in the world because that's just boring. Like being better than the second guy's just boring. He's trying to be better than he was, the year before, and that's just deep. That's crazy.
And also like when Nate was talking about like losing part, it's like nobody teaches you how to lose either. Everybody's trying to win and win like And how do you deal with loss too? It's something different. It's a part of the game too.
Yeah, man. I mean, the way coach, my dad always taught me to lose is with your head up. Like, I remember the first time I ever lost a jiu-jitsu match was a 80cc like nationals, like an open, in 2015. I was still a white belt, of course, and I got absolutely destroyed. I was like 8-0 or 9-0, and I thought I was like the best teenage grappler ever. I got humbled really quick, and yeah, absolutely destroyed, armbar choke, and it was awful. And I thought I just sucked, but he said, no, you always got to lose with your head high. Like, feel like you won because you're going to get better next time. Same thing with my amateur MMA fight. Like, he went in there, he knew that I lost because it went to decision, but he said to keep your head up and raise your hands, like you won. I mean, as a black belt now, that's some of the best advice ever. Like, keep your head high. You can always learn from it. Come right back and get better. Competitions all the time. And that's another thing, too, why I say as a white belt and a blue belt, tap a lot. It's okay to get beat in the gym, and it's okay to get beat in competition. Always get better. I mean, at the end of the day, if any blue belt walks into a store, most of the time, 99% of the time, they're going to be able to beat anyone up in the store. No,
And also in the gym, it's not a place to show how tough you are. You just have to get better in your game.
absolutely. Like, leave your ego at the door. Absolutely. That's what I say.
I feel like that kind of ties into one of the other points is advice for students going through difficult times while training. I mean, I feel like the blue belt blues, the
It's
times
real.
when you feel like you're plateaued, you're not increasing, you're not getting any better. It doesn't feel like it anyway.
I think because getting a blue belt in jiu-jitsu is equivalent, I feel like, to getting your black belt in most other martial arts, because it takes a long time in jiu-jitsu, especially if you do it the way we do it, like IBJJF rules, and you got to at least have been a white belt for 2 years and competed X amount of times. It takes a long time. So I think for a lot of people, they feel like they've gotten their black belt and that they've done all they can do, and no one wants to wait 8 more years to get their black belt. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. It does seem like blue belt was one of those. Yeah, I do remember like periods of having a blue belt, which I was a legacy blue belt. You know what I mean? I got it. So like 2 years in, I got my blue belt, and then it was gosh, I went through 4 years of college, and then it was a year or two after, so it was like 5 or 6 years I had my blue belt.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I was a white belt for 4 years.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was a white belt.
Darving, same. I know he knows the pain.
Oh yeah, I was like 7 years white belt. 7 years white belt, no, never ending. I have to get a new white belt. That's how long I want. Because the other one wore out.
I think too, blue belts. I think a lot of blue belts feel like that means that you're better than all the white belts, but you're still early on and you're still getting tapped by white belts, and I think that defeats a lot of people mentally and emotionally. They think, well, that's it for me because the white belts are still beating me. It's like, no, just because you got your blue belt don't mean you're better than all the white. It just means you've like trained longer. You're still early on. You're still kind of a rookie.
Also, it goes the other way around too for people that are new. Like maybe like, oh, you're better than me. I will never be that good. Like no, if you put the time in, just like I did, you also will get better at the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about mat time. You
Yeah,
can't come once a week and then expect to, be a black belt anytime soon.
yeah. I don't know if you heard that saying that no amount of intensity will ever make up for your consistency.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
But that's how you get hurt most of the time. You're gonna be like a weekend warrior, you just go full clip just the weekends, just get hurt because your body's not used to it.
It's like to that Dan Gable, he was a wrestler. His quote: "If you're afraid to fail, you'll never succeed." Like, that one goes deep, and it's very true. If you're scared to compete, then if you're scared to do jiu-jitsu, if you're scared to roll, you're not gonna get any better.
True.
It's very important.
What's your usual approach to coaching in mentoring students?
Yeah, and that goes back to one. I think it's very important to pick and choose your training partners wisely. Don't go with like the spazzy people, and don't be the spazzy guy either. I think, especially with if you're competing a lot and you've ranked up blue belt, purple belt, I think the best way to go about it is to get better, is to actually train with someone who's not necessarily new, but maybe like a blue belt or 4-stripe white belt. Like, I think that's how you get better. I think Joe Rogan actually said that recently, like choking out blue belts. I think that's how you get better. Like, if you come in and you just roll with Derving or Nate or Matt Walker and just get beat all the time, yeah, your defense is going to get great, but you're never going to learn how to set anything up. So that's like why I've always had, I guess you call it an apprentice, like someone that you teach them a lot of things, like to the side, and then roll with them a lot. And usually they'll be a little bit smaller than me, and they're not so bad to where you can do what you want with them. Like they know the basic principles of defending everything. So like when you're trying something new, like for example, I'm watching the Lachlan Giles instructional on K guard right now. I'm not just going to go in and just try it on Derving. I'm going to try it on some, blue belts first, half your size, and then, they're not just going to give it to you. They're going to defend it with what they know, but they're not good enough yet to where they can just absolutely stop it. So that's a way to drill and roll. Like you're doing both at the same time. You're drilling the move because you're a higher ranked unit to a lower rank, and they're giving you a lot of resistance because they're actually trying to beat you. And I think that's the way to go. That's how I teach my kids too. Like just don't go with someone that's even with you. You gotta roll people you're better than, and that also too comes down. That's mainly for the athletes. The self defense. Like people who just come in for self defense. Like the ones who are never going to compete. They're an accountant with 3 kids and a wife.
Wesley, we're talking about you. Wes, shout out.
And I think same thing a little bit. Like roll. You need to roll, but you need to work a different like type. Like instead of learning how to do De La Hiva or something like that, you need to learn how to take someone down and get on top and then get someone out from under you. So there's 2 different types of people that come into the gym or what they're looking for. So yeah, and then the main thing too, ego. You gotta leave that at the door when you come in the gym. Like be okay with getting beat. I mean, I am. I'll start in a bad position with a blue belt and they'll finish it a lot of the times. And that's okay. I mean, that's how you get better. A lot of instructors I feel like are very scared of getting exposed. Like a blue belt just beat my instructor. He's not a good instructor, and that's just not true at all. You roll so much with someone, they're going to know your game, and they're going to catch you every now and again, and that's okay. So that's the way I look at it. Also, too, like your size and your background. Like if you're a bigger guy, you need to work on getting on top, passing someone's guard, and using your pressure as your advantage. If you're a small guy, flexible, I'm not necessarily going to teach you. I think everyone needs to know like the basics, the basic takedown. But if you're going to compete, I think it's better to be on your back and then sweep to get to top. Use your flexibility to your advantage. If you got old man strength, using your strength to your advantage. Grabbing someone's gi and never letting go. I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate
It's
that.
brutal to get away from. Oh my god, just let me go.
Yeah, 2 minutes of the roll is just trying to break that first grip. And then they get a second grip, and then
Yeah, for real.
Like, being on your back also help gives you more limbs to defend yourself.
Absolutely, and got to get past the feet and the knees, the hands. You got to get past it all. I agree.
I think that's one of the things that blows people's mind the most coming in, like from the street to jiu-jitsu is like, at least for me, like when I walked in, my first teacher, Mike's dad, I could not pass his guard. It was so crazy. It was like his feet are hands. Like, how do I get past this? I only have 2 hands and he's got 4 limbs. He's attacking me. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you think it'd be
That to
easy.
me was so mind blowing. Yeah.
You think it's easy just to throw someone's feet by and get on top. It is not
Right.
at all.
They're everywhere.
When you say the concept that you talk about, like rolling at your offense with lower belts and defense with higher belts, but like when it comes to like new moves, for example, like K guard with line like us, without it kind of like the same concept when it comes to like lifting weights. When you learn how to do a snatch with a kettlebell, you don't pick that 100-pound kettlebell and swing it right at your head and knock yourself out. You should start more weight and just going through the movement. It's a full range of motion, and then eventually be able to get more reps and then heavier resistance with the higher belts, so you can practice those moves.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know much about lifting weights, but that makes sense. I eat pizza rolls to get my strength.
But yeah, like because you have to get that muscle memory going, because especially like the sport is really complex and certain moves are hard to do. But like if you like to do reps with smaller people and you start hitting, for example, do you catch me one in a ham sandwich? You come in with, so I started doing that like at the same night. Like, okay, I have to catch somebody in this ham sandwich.
Yes.
Gonna regain my dignity here.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
believe that. You made me do a sandwich.
If I'm trying to hug you and you're derving, there's something going on. I
Yeah.
feel myself. Something's going on.
I was like, oh no, it's a ham sandwich. But like it usually would like go like smaller belts. It's usually like just trying to challenge yourself. I when first started, I used to go over a move and try to hit it in practice. I was going to competition. Is the I don't
Mhm.
know about you guys, but I should like go think about like okay, how to like hit this move. Eventually, you'll be like two different as you get better in the game. So you have like a kind of like a idea what you go for instead of just like wandering around.
Absolutely. Yeah. You do one move over and over with like the same person, then you're gonna know how they would defend it, and then that's gonna lead to the next move. It's amazing.
Definitely, for sure. That's one of the cool things is when you get good training partners and you go with them a lot, you learn each other's games and you have to develop your game or you fall behind. It really does. Iron sharpens
Absolutely.
iron is, I mean, it's very, very accurate.
Absolutely.
What do you think about cross training, like different gyms? Because sometimes like you said like it's good to train with new people. Also, the other side too is sometimes when you go like with somebody all the time, they like know what your defense is. So like so like you kind of like cancel each other out. What do you think about training other gyms like once a month or when you don't have a competition during the weekend, they have open mat, you're just showing up in there instead of storming the gym, but you just like like try new partners and things like that, see how your game is compared to others.
No, I think all in or nothing. I think we're having a dojo war, or we ain't doing this. No, no. Yeah, I think cross training is really good. To a certain extent, I wouldn't say go to the same place like every single weekend, because then a whole other team's gonna know your game. But absolutely, I think cross training. I think it's a good thing because I mean, after a while, I mean, all the belt ranks that stay and don't leave at blue belt, we all know each other's game, and the way everyone in your gym defends it is probably not going to be how someone you go against in a competition defends it. So I think it's very important to cross train once or twice a month to go around and I think you can do it as much as possible if you don't ever intend to compete. So if you don't want to compete and rolling in itself is safe, but you still want to know how other people would defend things. So yeah, cross training, I love it and support it very much.
It's like a cheaper way of signing up for a tournament, so it's like $20 up a mat instead of paying for like a full tournament, and you'll be done out there in an hour. And then
Yeah,
and also you get to see like different schools how they teach stuff. Like for example, this school is more like a wrestling based jiu-jitsu. All like their jiu-jitsu, the takedowns are good, but the jiu-jitsu not good. Other schools are good in this. Like it gives you like a different perspective of how to work your game on the way.
absolutely. I think too that helps me as an instructor too. If I'm running out of ideas and you go to other school, you see how they teach things, and you bring back ideas. And I mean that's how it was when I went up to New York and trained. I tried to kind of teach the way John did. Obviously, there's only one John, and you can never be two John Donahers. But I liked everything he did, and I tried to bring it back. So yeah, I think especially for an instructor, it's important to cross train too. I mean, really, jiu-jitsu, I think we're all one big family. Like, you go to tournaments, you know everybody almost if you've been doing it long enough, so absolutely. Very important to cross train. I don't do it as much as I used to because now I'm teaching a lot more, like 5 or 6 days a week. So I don't get all the free time, but if I get like a Saturday off, I think cross training is important.
Cool thing about like also like tournaments, you get to see like people that are competing. This guy's coming up. You have to like he's going against who? Okay, let's go watch this match.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
What like how did you should change your life outside the mats?
Man, I think the main thing is just like confidence, like in life. Like I'd say by the time I got my blue belt, I was the most confident person in like high school. It's like what could anyone else do? If you've been doing jiu-jitsu long enough, like John Donner said this once too, it's like having a superpower. You know what I'm saying? You need to be humble and like nice, don't abuse, your power, go out and just start fights for no reason. But I mean, I feel like I can dress how I want, do what I want, and what are you gonna do? Beat me in a basketball match? Beat me in Xbox? poker game, I could kick your ass right now if I wanted to. I think it's made me so much more confident. That's the main thing.
It's funny when you try jiu-jitsu, that's sport itself. Did you look at every other things, the competition, as just like a video game of actually an end game of games?
Yes,
Just grappling, playing catch
I
death.
love. Yeah, I love to watching like John Wick do jiu-jitsu. I'm like that meme, like, oh, I love that so much.
Like, oh shit, he's going for a kill of a zombie.
Y'all watch Reacher at all?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. But this is just big dude who's in the army, and he's like, badass, hand to hand combat and weapons and all that. But he had a rival, like this big dude, even bigger than him. He was like, I think he's the new strongest man in the world. Like it was the Mountain on Game of Thrones, that actor, but I think this guy overdid it. And he was rape choking Reacher, and the whole time I was watching the show, I was screaming like, armbar, like just armbar him. It's giving it to you. You're supposed to be this badass, and you don't know basic armbar. Man, it drove me crazy. You'd think I was watching like a Gordon Ryan match or something. But yeah.
Funny you say that. I think there was actually a Fast and Furious movie where was it Matt Walker was getting choked by Vin Diesel, and he actually did a double armbar.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
haven't seen all those movies. I saw the Tokyo one. I'm gonna have to check that one out. Double armbar. That's like that's another 10 Planet move. It's the Dead Orchard.
Yep.
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 Yeah.
You have to figure for the shoulders, right?
Yeah, right there above the shoulders on the neck. Have
Yep.
both arms in. Great move.
Did you know that he was a purple belt, Paul Walker?
Really, I believe it. I didn't know it, but I believe it. Justin Bieber was purple belt too at one time. And you just
His
Really?
his training partner was Scott Eastwood, Paul Walker. They grew up together in Hawaii.
like the Eastwood, like a related to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood's son.
Wow.
He looked just like him.
Wow, I did not know. That's crazy.
Yeah, he got his black belt recently. Actually, Scott Eastwood.
I know that guy, Ashton Kutcher. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu too.
He's a black belt now.
Yeah, he's a black belt.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
He's
crazy.
a brown belt.
Yeah, and look at him, like,
What think about some celebrities that got like honorary belts are awarded to them? For example, like what's the name? Giselle, Brady's ex. Do you think she's a legit purple belt?
oh man, it's hard to tell. I mean, it depends on how much time they put on the mat. I'd say chances are not. Like, if I was a betting man, I'd say probably not.
Unless like she get extra stripes at night with her instructor.
Yeah,
Because that's
definitely.
a new boyfriend. Those don't count
Yeah,
towards your belt.
yeah, that's a quick way to rank up.
Yeah. The extent that people like Neil said, the extent people will go nowadays for promotion. For example, like Demi Lovato, it was one of those like
Demi
she had like
Lovato, yeah.
a blue belt as well.
Like I heard about her getting her blue belt and then getting her purple belt like really close together too. Like hers just wasn't, it's not just speculation, but like I'm pretty sure that she got those belts very close together. Which there's also the aspect of I'm pretty sure she like only trained with her instructor, which I'm sure can be effective, but again, you don't get any looks at any other games, and that to me is like I don't know, man. Like
Yeah,
you're just
not a
not used to
legit.
adapting at all.
I agree, 100%.
Because you're getting roles with somebody that you're paying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
you could buy a belt color easy.
I think she's a Higa Machado blue belt. I'm not sure if it was true. John Jacques Machado's brother.
He's a blue belt.
No, she got promoted to blue belt by
Okay.
him. Higa Machado.
Okay, okay. Well, she's probably legit if it's.
Mm-hmm. And some of those you see like, oh yeah, they're legit. For example, like Hardy, Tom Hardy. He shows up to tournaments.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah.
Hardy. Yep.
Yeah.
At least he does it, man. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that.
Another
If
guy
you're a
that's like
celebrity
that.
going out competing.
Another guy that's like that. Like I think he's legit. Is what's his name? Was Madonna's ex-husband?
Michael Jackson.
No, not that one.
Wait, no, that was never mind. That was Elvis's daughter.
Yeah. No, I think he was married to Madonna too for like 2 days or something like that.
Claim to fame.
Guy Ritchie. He's a black belt under Roger Gracie. Guy Ritchie, that's his name, but he's a black belt under Roger Gracie. Which
Well, he's probably legit.
yeah, Roger Gracie
Mm.
is legit. Madonna used to complain about Guy Ritchie having mats in his house because he was that obsessed with Jiu Jitsu.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool. That's cool to see.
He's like he did different movies. The Covenant. Have you heard the movie? Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Rock and Roller, Sherlock Holmes. He's the director for those movies.
Yeah, he's probably legit then.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued like how because you don't want the sport itself become like a mall karate, being like people get awarded for being a billboard of the sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's exceptions though. Like Nicky Rod went from blue belt to brown belt pretty fast. Like, but he was Nicky Rod. He was out there killing it in competition. Helena Cravar right now, she was a blue belt like I think less than a year ago. And now she's a brown belt. I think there's some exceptions.
She's been murdering everybody, though. It's crazy what she's been able to do.
And she does it in gi and no gi. That's wild.
This is like
You
the
got to
equivalent of
imagine.
being like the equivalent of being a good pitcher in baseball and softball.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Helena's got a match coming up against Elizabeth Clay. I'm excited to see that
That'll be
match.
cool.
Yeah,
That'll be really cool, I think.
Yeah, she just murdered the whole competition. Who did she lose against in ADCC in the finals?
was it Theo? No, was it Theo? No.
I want to say it was a Brazilian girl. Oh, I think about Helena. I mean, no, Helena Adele. Adele's Fiona weight class though. She's not Helena, but like it wasn't like a dominating fashion. She just got shut down
Yeah,
the game.
yeah. She didn't get submitted or anything. I know she a couple weeks ago made it to the finals, the semifinals of the gi absolute at Pans and went against Sarah Galvo, Andre's daughter. That was a really good match, and Galvo got that one. That was a really good match.
Crazy to see her go against like Maggie. What's her last name now? You know,
Cyborg, like Roberto Cyborg, the jiu-jitsu guy or the MMA girl?
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu guy. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. No, I didn't know she
The
competed.
heavyweight.
Yeah, she's up there. She's high level competition, and she got destroyed by Helena. I think in was it UFC Fight Pass, something like that.
Oh, the Fight Pass Invitational. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yep. I didn't know that there was any relation there. That's crazy. Yeah, she's killing it, man. And she's not even an adult yet.
I know.
The sky's the limit for her.
Just stick to it. She's gonna be the gold in women's. The only one that's in her way is Fion. That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
But everybody else, she just dominating. Also, the coach that she has with her, in which I don't know how long. Have you heard that he's thinking about retiring? John Danaher.
Yeah. He's having some physical issues.
That's too bad.
What do you see?
Yeah, he had to have another hip replacement, I believe.
Yeah. What do you see him going next if he's no coaching?
I think I've been speculating Gordon because he ain't competed in a hot minute, but he's always training. Like he posts videos all the time of him training, and from the instructionals, I say Gordon Ryan's an exceptional instructor as he is competitor. So it wouldn't surprise me if Gordon stepped down from competing to take John's place. If he does, hope he don't retire. But if he does,
He would talk in the recent podcast with Joe Rogan, the Fight Companion, that he'd be working on opening a gym on Northeast Austin for 2 years.
Yeah, called New Wave HQ.
So I wonder if that's the game plan for him.
Yeah, I think so. I wish he would. If he's retired, I wish he'd announce it.
Yeah, true. He did have I can't remember. It was a podcast a while back where he talked about how he thought, like Gordon said he would. I thought he said something like he would retire when Danaher did. Like he didn't want to compete without Danaher as a coach. I thought there was a podcast when he said that.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and I believe that.
I mean, it's kind of understandable. You learn to work with a guy that closely for that long. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. That would make sense. Like Khabib and his dad.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
He goes beyond the sport at the point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because I mean, they moved to Puerto Rico together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saw how that. Yeah. I think there is one thing that would keep Gordon from competing though, and this is just my opinion as a fan. Ian Dorte, he now has 4 ADCCs, and Gordon has the most with 7, but Kyan's knocking on the doorstep. He's like closing the gap. So I think that might, if anything, keeps him from retiring. I think that would do it.
That's a pretty prestigious claim right there. The most ADCC.
He he beat, who did he beat that was like crazy? Because I beat like Craig Jones. No, he beat Nicky Rock early on too, right?
Yeah, he's 2-0
ADCC.
against Nicky Rod, and they have a match next weekend.
Mm, what?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm betting on Kyan. Same thing. I mean, I told everyone Victor Hugo was going to beat Nicky Rod, but don't believe. I mean, there's just some people that have your number. Victor was already 4-0 against him.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was in the pit, it would be different. But it's just match now, so
Yeah.
I think Kyan's got him. Yeah, they fought in the finals of ADCC 2019, and then a week later they fought at Fight to Win, and Kyan actually heel hooked him.
Yes, because they were like within a month of each other, right? Those two.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Nicky Rod was like a blue belt back then.
Speaking of Danaher, what do you think about Danaher's promotion? When he promotes you, he gives you knives. How cool is that?
I don't understand it. I think it's cool. I don't understand it though. I think it's different. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, does Nicky Rock has a black belt? Oh, he's a brown belt.
He's a black belt now.
Yeah, because I think it was when he got his black belt, he posted a picture with a freaking Magnum.
Yeah, he got a revolver.
Yeah, that didn't click with me until you just said that. I didn't know what they were doing, but yeah, I got it now.
Bring a knife to a gunfight. I was like, wow. Yeah, they did that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh my gosh. B Team's
Right.
hilarious. I love their
Yeah.
trolling. Their trolling is amazing.
Absolutely. It's brought a lot of eyes to the sport too.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt.
It's really marketable.
Absolutely.
But you guys can keep talking. Hold on, I gotta take a piss.
What are some matchups you want to see?
Some matchups?
Yeah, like in ADCC CJI coming up.
There's always the Nikki versus Gordon rematch. Yet again. I love to see that. I feel like that's, I don't know. Well, partially they hate each other, so I feel like that makes it kind of interesting. But
Yeah, get the people what they want.
yeah, no, for
Everyone
real.
wants that.
But I don't know. It's really cool to see because it's kind of like the athleticism versus the like methodical step by step approach. I don't know, because Nicky's, I don't know, he's different, he's built different. He's one of those guys that's super athletic, super good at what he does.
Yeah.
But then there's Gordon Ryan, which he knows the technique, he knows step by step what he's gonna do. But I love that matchup. It's so interesting to see when they go against each other,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think that's Nicky Rod's kryptonite. Like against the pros, obviously he'd like wipe me clean off the mats, but like against like Gordon and Victor, I think those guys that do the step by step approach, I think that's like his kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he's not able to overwhelm you immediately with like his movements and guard passing and get to your back, I think that's his kryptonite. I agree. I think that's a good matchup because the last time they fought on UFC Fight Pass, he actually submitted him, but the time
For
was out.
sure. Yeah. I mean, I totally give that to Gordon. I wouldn't want to get my jaw crushed any more than that had to anyway, but you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
all right, we're done. Like, let go.
What was
But
the injury that Gordon had there?
Nicky Rod broke his foot with the 50-50 toe hold.
That's right.
Yep, broke his foot and then crushed his jaw when the time expired. That's how you know the hatred's real. I don't care what anyone. Nicky Rod knew the time was up and he kept squeezing.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt there.
It's crazy that Gordon is only 29.
Really brings it home every time I think about like, dang, he's only like a couple years older than I am, and he's done that much. That's crazy.
Yes, it is. And then there's like Helena, who's only 17. Yeah. And the Ruotola brothers, they've done so much too, and they're like 20.
Yeah. Yep. It is really cool to see the new generations. I mean, what do you think about it? The new people coming up who have done it since they were kids. I mean, it's so interesting, right?
I mean, absolutely. I think the ones that are up and coming right now are from gyms that, and I have this written down, the understanding the times. Like they're adapting to like what's new. Like there's a lot of gyms too that are still traditional, like no leg locks till purple belt or brown belt. That's just not the reality anymore. You got to train them early, and now you got like Aoki locks and buggy chokes and all kinds of stuff. You got to train to maybe not everyone can do them, but at least defend them.
For sure.
So I mean, yeah, the new generation of jiu-jitsu, It's awesome, and it's grown the sport so much. I love it and I hate it. I love it for the world. It's better for the world, but as my own personal, reasons of competing, I hate it because you never know what they could throw at you nowadays.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
And
It's hard to keep
ADCC,
up.
like the trials back then was only like 3 or 4 matches, and now ADC's trials is like 256 people, and all the brackets are full. You got to be different to win that now.
Yeah, you got Tackett. You got. Have you seen Jet Thompson?
I have not.
He's not like super well known, but he's definitely. I feel like he has the potential to get there. I only heard about him because I went to a AGF tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and actually Mike was helping with the awards, and I was working something else, so we were helping work the tournament. But they were talking to this kid, and they're like, "Yeah, man, why don't you like come help with the tournament? They'll let you in for free, all this stuff." He's like, "Oh, I'm already sponsored." So AGF sponsors this kid. He competes for free, but like back then he was like 14, something like that. But he was competing in the adult divisions and dominating. And now he's 16, maybe 17, and just absolutely killing it. It's crazy to see. I mean, he reminds me of Helena. Not quite at that level, not quite out there that much, but doing extremely well, yeah.
Absolutely. Just gotta hope he sticks with it.
For sure, yeah.
It's also something with confidence too, like competing at that level. Like some kids are learning geometry. He's learning how the angle for a triangle choke to get better.
The angle that breaks the knee.
Yeah, fulcrum point. It's crazy. It's like you were saying, like knowledge is power. As far as like some people that refuse to do certain techniques. That's like, for example, like the UFC was like the way, like as far as like knowledge of all the different techniques that are possible. Before that, people used to like, yeah, if I like put my finger right here, you're knocked out, or point your head down, you're dead. But now, like the information is readily available for everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to teach everybody everything. Otherwise, they feel like they are not getting to the full potential, and that might be the reason why Nicky Ross not be able to beat those guys because they know those positions he wants to put him in.
Yeah, exactly. Though, like you said, the information's out there now. Easy access.
I heard we said that in the area of information, ignorance is a choice.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Because how many instructionals can you get? The information is out there.
Yeah, I have a few of them myself. I'm like
Do you
watching 2
think?
different ones right now.
Do you think it's more difficult to get on the mat and do the like competitions, things like that, or sitting down for an hour watching instructional?
Watching an instructional. It's so hard to keep that. It's like being in school again. It's for something you enjoy, so you can do it.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's way more fun to go out and practice it. But like for me, I'm in the gym from like 12 to 3 every day watching, instructionals and film. I think too, watching matches, I think watching like professional jiu-jitsu players go at it is even more important than watching the instructionals because they're
yeah.
proving at that point that it works. So, I mean, I watch Gordon Ryan tape all the time.
The proof is in the pudding of all the techniques that they will go through,
Yeah, it is.
and those sequences, like it's like not so much the end game or like the end move, also like the sequences themselves. They're just like he like breaks you. For example, like I was watching the match Marcelo Garcia when he was side control. He was able to get north south with the over under. Like like never thought about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When I go from side control, go straight to north south doing it that way over under.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually just had a match with Mazuku Imanari, one
Yeah,
FC.
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, he
That
goes in
match.
with like a reverse head and arm, and I played with that for a while. It worked.
And how strong is that freaking north south? Do you see what he did to Kendall
Mm-mm.
in north south? She had to get stitches on her lip because
Oh
she
my god,
bit through her lip.
I did see that. Yeah, yeah.
Because they
Nate,
were
you're the North
practicing.
South choke guy. That's your game right there.
Hey man, it takes the legs out of the equation usually, unless they're super flexible.
Yeah, no, it usually takes the legs out of the equation. Actually, with one of my kid students right now, Hartley, she's 12 years old, and she does privates with me all the time. And we've been working the North South choke. And when we do matches, like for kids class, I'll tell her, all right, you can only hit a north south choke. That's the only thing I'm going to let you do. She's been hitting them like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's built for it. I
I
think that's
thought
very important too.
it seems like one of those things that it's very effective, but not many people look for it or know you're going to go for it, and so they don't know how to defend it. So you just sink it in, and it's great. I love that.
Yeah, there's no like taught defense to it. Just kind of that's one
Right.
you got to figure out on your
It's
own.
like don't get there, basically.
Exactly.
Have you tried to do a band flu show for side control, but without the guillotine grip that somebody has on you?
Yeah, it's like basically the shoulder of justice and side control, but like on the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very effective. Even if you don't like it submission, it opens up a lot. They don't want to be there.
Yeah. Not a bad position for them. And sometimes you get lucky, they just give you the bag.
Yeah, exactly. I take that every time.
Yeah. Why we go into men where you can just go to the bag? What are your thoughts like on the jiu-jitsu evolving as far as like the jiu-jitsu culture?
I mean, like I said, I think it's good for the world. I mean, I don't like it for myself. It's growing so much, it makes it harder to win the bigger tournaments because every big tournament's stacked now. And you also know what you never know what moves are going to be thrown at you now. But yeah, for the world and for the growth and to get eyes on the sport, very important. Absolutely. Like CJI, that's just something totally different. And it's crazy. I can't wait for CGI too. I think that's a good idea. I want to one day get a pit in the gym. I think that would be awesome.
But yeah, a pit in the cage.
Yeah, a pit in the cage.
Yeah.
That's different. We might have to try that one day. Like half of the cage is just the cage, and the other half is pit.
Yeah.
Pit has a ceiling that's a cage.
This is like welcome to Hell in a Cell. What was I telling you about? I just forgot about that. About yeah, I just lost it. But as far as like evolving on the sport, like because you have like different people that they're that's what I was gonna say. CGI too teams. What do you think about that? The format.
Yeah, quintet style. I think it's interesting because you could get like a 66 kilo guy going against a 88 kilo guy, and that's a really like we talked about earlier, like two different styles going at it. Most of the time, though, little guys will be playing bottom, and their guard. Like when Lachlan at ADCC 2019 submitted 399 plus kilo guys, Kyan, Muhammad Ali, and Patrick Gaudio. Like, well, I think we want to see more of that. That just proves jiu-jitsu works. You know, being a little guy submitting big people. I love it. I can't wait for it. That's why Gordon Ryan was doing it.
That's when he became the Giant Slayer. Not like that.
Yes, the Giant Slayer.
Also, I'm going to tell you about as far as like in jiu-jitsu. Have you noticed like more people involved in jiu-jitsu after like 2020? Because like before like 2015, there's people going comment stuff like. But it seems like after that time, a lot of people started doing jiu-jitsu. Like that you wouldn't even think about that they will be doing the sport itself.
Yeah, I mean, during the lockdown, there wasn't many sports available, but I think jiu-jitsu is kind of like a cult. I think people were breaking the rules and still training anyway, and it got people wanting to be active. And I mean, I think that helped it a lot. And they were still doing jiu-jitsu competitions were still open during COVID too.
Also,
UFC was still going on.
that's what Abu Dhabi started, right? The the Fight Island because of it.
Yeah,
That's the sport that you can get better, you can get stronger, and also you can um learn all the time. But one of the funniest thing I hear from people, I will start doing jujitsu when I get in shape. Like, good wait, you don't have to be in shape. You ever see someone's like really like fit in jujitsu?
yeah. No, you don't have to be in shape to be good at jiu-jitsu at all.
It's like
The first time my dad met Marcelo Garcia, he went up there to train with them, and he said Marcelo came out to shake his hand, and he had like a thing of cheese balls that he was eating. Just terrible diet.
he's a freaking
And
killer.
yeah, absolutely. I think he was the goat before Gordon Ryan.
Yeah, he's like amazing. He's one guy that usually doesn't get seen like as that over the radar is Hojo Gracie.
Yeah, the goat. I mean, legend. He went out the way you should go out. Like he submitted Boucher like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm. And
And
all
this is
his
Boucher.
game is yeah, and all his moves are fundamental.
Fundamental. Yes. Basic collar chokes. Cross collar chokes.
Nothing flashy.
That in itself should prove how effective jiu-jitsu is.
Have you ever seen this guy Paul Craig in the UFC?
I have not. I don't
He
watch
has
much.
a nasty guard. Like he like full guard, he can just like grab your wrist and get like wrist control. He's able to throw a triangle from there, from cigar over your arm, and then you throw the triangle over when you try to pull your arm back. Or he does other like his guard's ridiculous. He's from Scotland, I think.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive.
I wish that more people would like more like that in the sport.
Yeah, I know.
What advice would you give to those struggling to stay motivated in training?
Well, first you need to staying motivated. You need to ask why you're lacking motivation. Like, why are you not motivated anymore? Is it like finding other interests? Is it you're getting beat all the time? I think you need to ask yourself why first. And I say, I mean, everyone's situation is different, but if you don't have a reason to stop, like, don't. Like, jiu-jitsu is always evolving. You can always always get better. I think like jiu-jitsu is like the best therapy in the world if you do jiu-jitsu. Like, you're having a bad day at work, a bad day in your home life, you come in, you could illegally choke people and arm lock people. Yeah, and it's amazing. So I think I'd just say do more jiu-jitsu. You know, like for me, the only time I ever considered quitting was in middle school. I was like 15, 4-stripe white belt, and I had my first like heartbreak. Girlfriend broke up with me, cheated on me, something like that. And I was ready to quit. I was like, having no reason to do this anymore. And then that's when my dad took me up to New York to train with Eddie Cummings, and I was like immediately rejuvenated. So like, find a reason to rejuvenate yourself.
For some reason, sometimes you just feel like an abusive relationship that you have to fall in love, find a way to fall in love with it over again, even though it
Yes.
brutalizes you. Because you just sometimes you just need something like to spark again, like why are you doing it? Because sometimes yeah, it feels like that for me. Like man, like why like going like my going over the move, just I'm going through the motion. But it's like oh that is why just learning other things in the sport.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you stay in your own realm, like I struggle with that too. Like, especially in competing, I stay in my comfort zone, like the leg locks and knee shield. So a couple weekends ago, I went to just a local tournament, a good fight up in Boone, and I told myself I'm not going to leg lock. I'm going to go out there and try other things. And I went all the way to overtime, but I got an armbar. That was the first non-leg lock submission I've gotten since 2016. That was an amazing feeling. So yeah, finding other reasons, get out of your comfort zone, and it'll make you want to learn something new.
The beauty of the sport is also everything you want is outside your comfort zone. That's how you learn moves and get better.
Mm-hmm.
It also it applies to your game and also in life to learn new things.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you have like a what's your Instagram? You have
I
like
think Slushie Jiu Jitsu or something like that.
do
Yeah,
you have like
Slushie.
any do you have any like anything coming up like you wanna advertise with us?
There's a TFA May 17th. I ain't got a match for it yet, but that's the next for sure competition I'm doing. I'm 0-3 at TFA for some reason, so I got to get a win. Got to get a win at TFA.
Go to South
Yeah,
Carolina.
because I was the main event, and then I lost, and then I was the co-main event, and then I lost. So I keep going down on the card. So I gotta get my way back up. I'm gonna be in the parking lot by the time it's over with.
Oh, shout out to Avery.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Do you have any questions, Nate?
Good on my end.
Well, thank you for joining us today on a Monday night.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I got to get up in a little bit to teach morning class.
Yeah, well, thank you again for
Absolutely.
coming
Thank y'all
again.
so much. It was good to talk
Appreciate
to
it.
you.
Good
Yeah,
talking to you.
yeah. Just so you can tell people, just share. We have like where we are streaming Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Well, thank you again. Till next time, Bad Matters Podcast.
Absolutely. Later, guys.